It's the same stuff. It's just regurgitated.
Yeah. We just removed the ACOLYTE and plugged in Star Wars Outlaws. It's the same song and dance. Renegade Online. This is an article that could have been written in 2015, in 2017, in 2019, in 2020, 21, 22, 23. This is an article that could have been written 6 months ago before the ACOLYTE came out. And in fact, they were. We had articles. Well, this is like they all go like this. Every one of these things. This is from August 22nd. This was an interview at CGM. Star Wars Outlaws, women taking the lead in a galaxy far, far away. Now, again, fine. You want to have strong female characters in Star Wars. That's great. We've all loved Princess Leia since day one. That ain't anything new. All right, but, Leslie Headland took the lead in a galaxy far, far away. We all saw how that went. Now it's happening here. Lead scriptwriter Nikki Foy and Kay Vess herself, the actress who was used as a model, who is way hotter than what they did to her in this game.
It's not even close, VR, bro.
No.
She is a gorgeous woman. How did they mess this up? They have made this woman look so busted, and I'm like, why would you do this to her? If I was her father, I would be pissed.
Star Wars Outlaws is the latest game that takes place in the Star Wars universe, right between Empire and Return of the Jedi. The story follows scoundrel Kay Vess as she makes a name for herself as an outlaw and her lovable pet. Okay, so Valiant, they couldn't have used Han Solo because he was encased in carbonite. I don't care. They didn't have to set it in this era. They could have done it before A New Hope, for all I care.
Then why didn't they have Chewie do a Chewbacca game where he's searching for where the location of Han Solo is?
Oh, can you imagine if Chewie was ripping people's arms off?
That's what I'm saying, man.
Bowcaster him to a tree. Yeah.
5 months before A New Hope, Han Solo had to run a mission. Here it is. Boom. And you have Chewie doing what Chewie does, Han doing what Han does. It would have been an amazing game. Everybody would have loved it.
I want to see Chewie beating a man down with his own arms. That's what I want.
And here would have been the ending to that game, Derek. The last scene of the game was Han walking into the bar on Tatooine and seeing Luke and Obi-Wan
Mos
come
Eisley.
in. Yeah. That's how you would
and then have him lean over to Chewie and say, "And I'm going to shoot first."
Yeah. I'm about to shoot Greedo. All right, so for the first time, players will be diving into an open world Star Wars game with Outlaws, and they'll be doing it as a woman.
Nope.
Well,
okay.
A dozen of them, yeah.
I meant this
allegedly.
one.
CGM got to sit down with two women taking the lead with Star Wars Outlaws, Humberly Gonzalez and Nikki Foy. Gonzalez, known for her roles in Ginny and Georgia on Netflix and more recently Taro, is the voice of Kay and handles all the motion capture for the role. Foy is the lead scriptwriter for Star Wars Outlaws at Ubisoft Toronto, which means not only do we have a woman as the face of the game, but we have one narrating it too. So again, already you can see this is the tone of this, the direction of this article is it's not about the game, it's about
the feminism.
Women taking over Star Wars. Like we've been getting this from Disney now for 13 years or 11 years or whatever the hell it's been. And it's obviously it's still just as successful today as it was in the last 10 years, which is to say really not at all.
You mean it's discourse? Is that what you're saying?
And mainly because, they keep insulting the men when they do this. And I mean, outright a lot of times. CGM got to, we talked with Foy and Gonzalez about what it means to work on such a beloved property. How being women and having women take the lead has influenced Star Wars Outlaws and what it means to them. Seeing women as the faces and storytellers behind these epic tales is something every girl needs growing up, and that knowledge was not lost on the pair while working on Star Wars Outlaws the last several years. Okay, here's the problem with what they just said, because, again, that paragraph right there, you could go back right now and find an almost verbatim paragraph for the Acolyte months before it released.
And I think the same way. I was about to say it.
Yeah. I mean,
I was hoping you were going to say something else because I was ready to go with it. It's the same stuff. It's just regurgitated.
Yeah. We just removed the Acolyte and plugged in Star Wars Outlaws. It's the same song and dance.
Is there a light? Do we talk about a light whip anywhere that kills bugs? Is that in here anywhere? Anywhere?
Well, let me tell you what else. This is the other thing. Is this projection of we're saving the world for little girls kind of thing with this? It doesn't make any sense.
It makes them heroes, Valiant. They need to be heroes because they suck at life, so they have to come up with ways to be heroes in the lowest effort way possible.
Let me jump in here real quick.
How is this empowering for women when you're literally saying the only way you can get ahead in life is by crapping on your next door neighbor of men?
Well, that's the other issue. But the thing I was mentioning is here, little girls aren't playing this game. They have zero interest in it. So how does it matter? And this is the point. No, but this is the point. It's you have an audience. You have a business. You're investing $300. The Star Wars fans are still out there hungry for a good product. They're just simply being denigrated and ignored. This continues to happen, and it's mind-boggling. Now, that being said, to be fair, of course, the Acolyte and this game ostensibly would have been put into production, conceptualized, and tracked towards release around the same time, probably 3 to 4 years ago. So at the time, they still have this mindset of, oh, this is what we need to do. This is the direction we need Star Wars to go in. And again, you're reaching to the point of near release, and you're getting here, and you can see the writing on the wall that basically everything you as Lucasfilm, Disney, Star Wars has produced to this point, short of some exceptions like the first couple of seasons of Mando, you have lost the dudes. The guys are checking out. Oh, there's more women. The percentage of women fans in Disney Star Wars now is growing. No, they're not. The men are leaving. That's why, by default, the per capita number of women in the group are growing. They're growing in the percentages because the men are checking out. There's nothing left for them.
I have a serious question. Look, what is a Star Wars woman, by the way?
Let me just throw this comical statement in, and then I know Derek
in there, Stephen.
Lucasfilm had an opportunity to get this thing right, and they have failed completely, utterly, and totally. And as you said, Valiant, they got this and the Acolyte in production at the same time, and you can see the failure. It's just obvious at this point. The Acolyte fell off the side of a cliff. Okay, it fell off the face of the map when it came to the Nielsen ratings, and then when it came to this particular game, it seems like it's not doing well. And the reason is because they are not catering to the fan base that built this franchise up from when it first started. Back in the original trilogy, or even if you're a prequelist, all right, if you're a prequel trilogy person, this is Star Wars is a thing. It's a certain way that you have to approach the franchise. And they're saying, oh, well, just, make it a woman. Let's put women in it and it'll be just fine. No, it's not going to be just fine because they don't understand what the fans actually really want out of the franchise. They do not get it. And that's the reason why they're all mad right now. What have they been saying when it comes to the Acolyte being canceled? Oh, we're mad that the toxic dude bros got to win. The toxic dude bros won. But it's like, well, no. Nobody's won anything. We were just right. We were just right. We were right the entire time. We told you that this is not going to work for Star Wars fans, that if you keep going down this path, you're going to completely destroy the franchise. That's what we've been telling you this entire time. And now you're seeing it full flesh in your face when it comes to the Acolyte. You saw it when it came to the Acolyte. The viewership completely collapsed. I want you guys to remember that most people are not involved in all of this culture war nonsense. Most people are just regular folks going about their 9 to 5, doing their daily lives, just living their lives out. Okay. And they came along and they said, okay, what's this Acolyte thing? And the Acolyte completely collapsed. It completely fell out of the Nielsen ratings after just 2 weeks. So that tells you everything you need to know. Regular normies, people that are not involved in the culture war, have completely dipped out. They're gone. And that proves what? that the guys that have been telling you the whole time that you're going to destroy your franchise if you keep going down this path were right. Okay. That's what it's just telling them. And they don't like that. They don't like the fact that we were right and they were wrong. Okay. Which is why I made this shirt. The toxic fans were right. Okay. That's why I came up with this shirt, because look, we have been telling them this entire time, you guys are going to destroy this franchise. We love Star Wars. We want Star Wars to be great, whether it's the Acolyte, whether it's Star Wars Outlaws. We want this franchise to be phenomenal, but you guys are going down the wrong path with your ideology. Kathleen Kennedy is right at the beginning of that. And it's funny because I actually had knee pain. You guys know knee pain. I had knee pain on, and knee pain said, hey, if I asked him, I said, well, what would you have done differently from Kathleen Kennedy? And he said, you know what? I probably would have created some sort of an offshoot. I know Kathleen Kennedy has a heart for female filmmakers and female writers. He says there's nothing wrong with that. I would have created some sort of an offshoot to, train and prepare these female filmmakers for the next level. That's what I would have done, instead of throwing them into Star Wars, which is a giant franchise with a lot of rabid fans that are going to be like, hey, this isn't working. This is bad. This is terrible. You guys are trash. Throw them into some Lifetime for women or something. I'm not saying that they should denigrate it, but throw them into something else. Why bring those women into the lion's den, which is Star Wars, and then expect everybody just, swallow it hook, line, and sinker? That's not going to work. All right. Derek. And that's where he went. That's where Kathleen Kennedy went all the way wrong when it came to this franchise, when it came to these games, when it came to the shows. She just completely, because she wanted to get these females. And again, fine. You want to get these women ready? Hey, put them in something separate that is not Star Wars. Don't give them Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. All right. Don't give them these giant franchises that you're just going to wreck and destroy. And now, where are you at? Where you at, Lucasfilm? Okay, you've absolutely destroyed all of these franchises for what? So that women can take the league in Galaxy Far, Far Away? You've absolutely completely destroyed the entire thing that George Lucas built.
But we talked with Foy and Gonzalez about what it means to work on such a beloved property, about being women, and something every girl needs growing up. Again, what little girls growing up are playing this game? I dare say damn near none. So it's one of these things. This is the stupid argument out there that it's the diversity, equity, and inclusion argument, right? Put people into positions to manage projects or do jobs that they aren't necessarily the most qualified to do, but it fits a diversity, equity, and inclusion mantra that a company will have. Like, we want to have more women in STEM, or we want to have more women in video gaming, which I fully support. My daughter wants to work in the industry. She is an artist. She wants to be a graphic artist. One of the things she wants to do is work on, she likes video games. She's a gamer. She likes playing Final Fantasy and stuff like that. But she wants to, I'm like, great, honey, do that, but be great at it. Just like I would tell my son if that was his choice. The issue is these days, you're putting people in charge of these projects just because they are women, just because they have 2 X chromosomes. So you can say, look, we have a woman running this game, or we have women running this game. And it's like, okay, great, but are they the right people for this job? Again, even Kathleen Kennedy and Leslie Headland in the last few months continued to acknowledge during the lead up to the release of the Acolyte that Star Wars is unquestionably still a male-dominated franchise. Exactly. This is my point. They still know it. They still admit it. And yet their answer to it is still, yeah, but
see, that's the problem. They're setting them up for failure, because now these women have their names attached to these bad projects that didn't sell, that didn't make any money. That's the issue. Like, why set them up for failure? Again, going back to what Knee Pain said, set them up for success. You want to have these women in here. You want them to be filmmakers. Set them up for success. Hey, Kathleen, you got a lot of experience in the industry. Why don't you create a spinoff? Not Star Wars, not Indiana Jones, not Willow, not things that people are looking forward to. Create a smaller division, and then, prepare these women over the course of time. Get them ready. Teach them what you know, where they're not expected to, deliver the bang and the bomb and the boom of Star Wars and be great right out of the gate if they're not ready? Why not do something like that rather than throw them into a franchise and not only ruin the franchise, but ruin their possible careers as well, where now they're attached to this dud. So whatever writers came out of this or the Acolyte, they're like, oh man, you wrote that? Nah, forget it. You don't know how to write. And see, that's something that they'll never be able to shake. Your resume is huge, okay? So why do that to these women that are trying to get ahead? Again, look, I sound like a feminist right now, but I'm looking out for, this franchise, and I'm looking out for these individuals. Like, hey, that's how I see it. Just try to do things the right way instead of trying to force feed. The Force is female. Like, come on, knock that off, man. The Force isn't female. The Force is Star Wars fans. Just make it right. That's all we ask.
The Force is a feminine thread attached between all of us.
No, Derek, you make great points. Here's the thing. Let's be very honest. In this day and age, the term feminist tends to have a pretty negative connotation, unfortunately, because it's not what it was 50, 60 years ago, where it's like, hey, we want women to have equal rights. Yeah, we're all in favor of that today. The problem is that wanting women to have the same opportunities as men, or wanting women to, hey, if you want to come in and make a great video game, by all means, let's go. Okay. That's just, I'm all for women having these chances. To give you a good example, what I was going to say here, again, look at how this article was set up. This is all about now women are taking the lead and women are doing this. And it's a story about a woman in Star Wars that we're now making it for women, for little girls, and da-da-da-da-da-da. It's like, wait.
Women. They already have that book out.
Well, that's true. No, but my point here is this same individual, Nikki Foy, who was the writer for this game. If Nikki Foy had come in, the same woman, and done this game like Derek, you and I were just talking about, and Steven and Pro, make it Han Solo, make it like GTA, make it right before New Hope when he's still the scoundrel, this thing probably would have sold at least double what it's selling right now, if not triple. She could have done that. And she'd have been a very successful video game maker for a AAA game. And now, yes, this thing is still going to sell millions of copies. But again, it's like we tell people, it's great when we can, this Marvel movie made $600 million, but it still lost money because they spent way more than that, than what they got back. This is going to be the same situation here. So they made a choice. Somebody made a conscious choice to not use Han Solo, while at the same time saying, we want to make a game with a Han Solo character, but we don't want to use Han Solo. We want to make it female and make the female look as much and act like as much like Han Solo as we can. That's a stupid decision, because that's a decision that was made in the absence of any commercial viability. If you've got to sell as many copies of this game as possible to be successful, okay? You've got to sell 10, 15, 20 million copies, okay? You need Hogwarts Legacy Harry Potter money. They ain't going to get it with this game.
If you make a semi-decent game where you play as Luke Skywalker with a lightsaber, Master Luke, biggest powers anybody's ever seen, taking on the baddies, how much money does that make just by being Luke, without even having to wonder, like, how good is the game? If it's just at least mediocre, these people want to take these massive financial risks where they could have assurance that they would get their ROI if they just use the characters. But they are too busy being the heroes of their own headcanon by swapping out these characters with their own originals, and they're never as good, because they're always filtered through the modern DEI lens of Star Wars last straw suckage.
Make sure you're subscribed to Valiant Renegade and join us every Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern for the live show.